Hi and welcome back to Whitetail Acres Farm. The storm we've been hearing about for the past week or so has finally arrived, and our priority has been very simple with this storm. Keep the animals safe, keep our paths clear, and keep our kitchen warm. This storm is being called the Blizzard of 2026, as a historic bomb cyclone paralyzed the Northeast with record-breaking snowfall for many states. The weather models kept changing for our area, so it was hard to tell just how much snow we should expect, but we knew it would be around a foot or so, give or take a couple inches, so we were preparing for a pretty good amount. In preparation for the snowstorm, Ryan decided to get some additional lights to install in the front and back of our side-by-side. The normal headlights that he typically uses tend to get blocked by the snowplow, so having some additional lights so he can continue to keep up with the plowing and stay on top of the snow throughout the storm was critical. This storm ended up being a day and a half event for us. Late Sunday, the snow started and it increased in intensity as the day went on, giving us somewhere around an inch an hour. So Ryan knew he was going to have to stay up pretty late and try to keep up with the snowfall so that way it didn't just pile up and become really difficult to manage and overwhelming in the morning. Our son Logan wanted to stay up as late as he could and help with the snow maintenance. So Logan's job was to take care of our walkway, which he did a fantastic job with. And Ryan hopped on the side-by-side, plowing our driveway and critical areas over by the barns to get to the animals. And he also did a really wonderful job with going out there many times to take care of the snow. As the snowstorm continued on the next day, I thought it would be great to be able to make a nice homemade meal. So I started with some sauce. We like our sauce to simmer on low for several hours to thicken up and to allow all of those flavors to blend together. So I threw some jars of our homemade sauce in a pot. I had a few jars of herbs that we grew in our garden this past season that I dried out, so I decided to add those nice herbs to the sauce to give it some really great flavor. We don't have to worry about stocking up on food during weather events like this. While many people are rushing out to the stores beforehand, we have the peace of mind knowing that we've been preparing throughout the year to make sure we always have what we need. So being able to just easily whip up a nice homemade meal is very simple for us, and we're very grateful for that. Meanwhile, Ryan continued to go outside to keep up with the snow. When the snow piles up, the tractor is great for heavy lifting, but for clearing the long driveway and getting around the barn fast, nothing beats the side-by-side. Those machines are very light, which makes them very nimble, but you need some weight for traction, so Ryan actually filled the bed of the truck with a ton of firewood and then put a tarp over it to protect the firewood from getting too wet. And this is a great idea because it not only allows for the extra traction, but then we have the firewood close to the house because we keep the side-by-side in the garage, and we can just take that firewood out whenever we need it for our wood-burning stove, and we can continue to keep the house warm with our fire as well. Now that the sauce has been cooking down for a little bit, I took out some of our ground beef from one of our steers that we had butchered and decided to make some homemade meatballs with those. I want to get those meatballs cooking in a little bit, and that way I can first fry them in the frying pan and then add them to the sauce. So for dinner we can have some homemade tomato sauce with meatballs that we can put over some pasta, and that's going to be a really wonderful, comforting meal that our family can enjoy later. As the snow was starting to taper off for the day, Ryan is just finishing up the last of the plowing. He has taken care of our driveway at this point and over by the workshop, and now he's just finishing up by our livestock barn and our hay barn. I know he really enjoys working all of the different equipment that we have, so he doesn't mind taking care of the snow removal, but he's done it so many times. I'm sure he's exhausted and he can't wait to come inside and just have a good meal and relax. As I'm getting the meatballs cooking inside, I decided to also make a little dish of eggplant parm. The eggplant is also something that we preserved over the summer with our summer garden. I like to get the eggplant, and then during the summer I will slice it up, bread it, and pre-cook it before flash freezing it and then vacuum packing it for the freezer. Having homegrown prepared meals like this ready to go is such a blessing, and we love being able to have that taste of summer even in the middle of the winter like this. I'm hoping this is the last of the snow that we're going to see. It has by far been the snowiest winter in a very long time. The snowfall from this storm in our area ended up being about 11.5 inches when all was said and done, which is not horrible. I know so many other areas, especially a little more north of us, got way more than that, some 2 or up to 3 feet, which is just mind-blowing. I can't imagine having that much. So I'm glad we only had about 11.5 inches, and the cattle had all just enjoyed being out in it, and we thankfully didn't have any issues with any of the animals or any of our buildings on our property with this storm. With our pasta meal tonight, I thought it'd be great to make some homemade bread too. I've been wanting to learn how to use sourdough for quite a while now, and I finally decided to jump in and start experimenting with it, and so far it's been a really great experience. There is a learning curve to it, and I'm not perfect at it yet, but I thought I would try making some homemade sourdough bread with our dinner. And to go along with our homemade bread, I decided to make some homemade butter too. I love homemade butter. It tastes so much better than store-bought, and it is so super easy to make. You basically only need whipping cream. It's really one ingredient, which just blows my mind. So you just put the whipping cream in the KitchenAid blender and you blend it until it goes from the liquid milk form to butter. And the transformation is just fascinating to watch. I love watching it. So I put it in a fast mode here so that way you can kind of see it. It'll go from the liquid to a thicker consistency, which you could actually use as like whipped cream if you wanted to. But if you keep it going a little bit longer, you'll eventually see it look like it's starting to curdle and it separates from the buttermilk. And that part that separates the solids is what you will kind of push together like I am here, and then it's basically a block of butter, and all you have to do is rinse it under some cold water just to make sure you squeeze out the last bit of the buttermilk, and then add a little bit of salt, and it's done. It's so great, and I really recommend you trying it if you want to start somewhere. Even though I'm anxiously awaiting the spring, there is something very calming and beautiful about the snow. For many people, the snow ties deeply in with their childhood memories. Thinking back to the snow days and just playful times and being able to get a break from your standard routine. And I think for adults, that holds true as well. It almost gives us, permission to just rest and relax. And even though it is work to keep up with the snow, it is very beautiful and relaxing. And it gives us time to also focus indoors where we can make our nice meals, spend time with family, and not have the busyness of the world distracting us. Well, everything has been cooking away nicely inside, and the smells in the kitchen are amazing. Our sourdough bread looks really good. It has some air pockets in there, which I'm really happy to see. So I can't wait to taste it. And Ryan is going to go ahead and cut up the bread for us while I get the rest of the components of our dinner together so we can all sit down as a family and enjoy this wonderful home cooked meal. There's nothing like having a homemade meal where everything is either raised here or grown here by us or simply just made from scratch. So, how have you been spending your time during this snowy season? Have you gotten snow? If so, how much? And if you were in one of these states in the Northeast here that got really hit, let us know where you're from and how much snow you got and how much of an impact that had for you. We would love to hear all of the different stories. I think that's about it for us today, but thank you so much for joining us. I hope you were safe during this snowstorm, and we will see you on the next one.